All right, geometry. You also need to know how to use trigonometry to find a missing angle, and this is called inverse trig. So let me show you what it's all about. Okay. For inverse trigonometry, it tells you what to do over here, but I'm going to show you down here. Okay. First, let's do this first one. Okay. You're going to start the same way you did with trig, except this time the angle is not a number; it's a variable. It's x, right? So starting here at x, I want to label O, H, and A. Opposite from the angle, the x, H is across from 90, A is by itself, right? Now, do you see how H has nothing? I don't need H. So when I think of so, ka, toa, okay, O and A has to be T for tan, okay? So here's how I would write it. Tan, and then my angle is x equals O over A, 5 over 14, okay? This is where it can get kind of tricky. Okay, to get rid of the tan, I have to do what's called an inverse trig. That's the opposite. So what I do is I write tan inverse in front of tan x, and I write tan inverse in front of this fraction. Here's what that does. The tan inverse and the tan cancel out, and x is left with tan inverse 5 over 14. Now I kind of want you to see what happened here. All that really happened is that the trigonometry moved to the other side with a little negative 1. Do you see that? See, x is by itself now. The tan is on the right side, and it just has that little negative 1, okay? So if you get that shortcut, this will be not too hard, okay? But let's type this into our calculator. Tan inverse 5 over 14. Now, remember, the website that we use is desmos.com/scientific. Or you can go click on Math Tools, and the second one is Scientific Calculator. You see how the URL is desmos.com/scientific? All right, so what are we typing in? Tan little negative 1 means inverse. So tan inverse 5 over 14. To get the inverses, you have to click on function. Does everyone see that right here? We're in degrees mode, not radians. We click on function, and the second row is all your inverses. We're clicking tan inverse, and it's 5 over 14. So go back to main, 5 divided by 14. Oh, whoa, back. Make sure you're inside the parentheses, 5 divided by 14. Tan inverse, 5 over 14, gives me my missing angle, 19.65. All right. Now, if that was kind of hard to understand, I know it's really close quarters there. Let's try another one down here on number 1. So remember, first step, find our missing angle, label O across from the angle, H is across from 90, A is by itself. Which one do I not need? Well, O is not labeled. So let's remember, so, ka, toa. Now, which one is A and H? Ka, C stands for cosine. So cosine, and then the angle, which is x, equals A over H, 10 over 13. Okay. Now, I'll do this the long way again. To get rid of the cosine, to get x by itself, I need to get rid of cosine with a cosine inverse in front of it. And if I do it on one side, I'm going to have to put a cosine inverse on the other side. Whenever I have a cosine inverse and a cosine, they cancel out. So now I just have x equals cosine inverse 10 over 13. Okay, now I can type that in my calculator and get my missing angle. Cosine inverse 10 over 13. So I go to func, cosine inverse, back to main, 10/15. And I hit enter and I get 39.72 because the 5 makes it round up. 39.72. And by the way, that's measured in degrees because it's angle, right? Cool. Now, number 2, I'm going to do it with a little shortcut. Cool. So number 2, here's my angle. I label O. I label H. I label A. Do you see how H has nothing on it? I don't need that in my life. So if it's OA, OA is going to be tan. So let's use tan. Okay. Tan, and what's the angle? X equals O over A, which is going to be 11/16. Now here's the trick. If I want to get X by itself, I can move this tan to the other side, but it has to be inverse. That's the trick. So if you want to kind of save this step right here, you don't want to have to write this step, then you can go ahead and just do that. So tan moves to the other side with an inverse. So X equals tan on this side, inverse 11/16. Don't forget the inverse, it won't be the same answer. Okay, so tan inverse 11/16. So tan inverse, back to main, 11/16. And I get 34.51 when I round. All right, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much how you do it. Okay, I'll leave it at that.